Hi, I'm Matt, and this is a brand new Grizzly G0704 mill. This is for machining metal, and I'm putting together a machine shop here in my garage. This will be my first piece of equipment for that project, and I'm real excited about it. I just got the machine last night, and I'm ready to go through the break-in procedure. So I'm going to show you how I do that. As you can see, it's still sitting on the pallet that it arrived on. I did already take off the outside of the crate. It kind of comes in a wooden box. The base that comes with it arrived, but the base was damaged, so that has gone back to Grizzly to get replaced. I should have that here very soon. I do want to say that the people at Grizzly were very friendly and accommodating about getting all that replaced. I've had a couple small issues with the order, but they took care of it, and everybody's been very friendly there. So let's go through some of the controls, and then I'll go over the startup and the break-in procedure now. Okay, so we'll go over some of the basic controls. I'm still kind of learning it myself. This is the control panel right here, and it has what they call a DRO. I think all this does is measure the height of the spindle, but I'll be installing a battery on this to see how that goes. And I have the battery right here. It comes with. The way that you do this is that there's this emergency stop button here. There's a little switch on the bottom. You open this up and press the green button, and the machine turns on. And it actually will spin at just a little bit when it first starts up. I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that or not. And then this knob here controls the speed. Now it does have a high and a low speed on the gearing, and we'll kind of go over that now. Okay, so when this was shipped to me, the gear was actually located in the middle position, and I had a really hard time getting it into gear, and I thought it was actually broken. What I had to do was turn on the motor and kind of run it for a little while and just keep even pressure on this thing, trying to move it to the low position. I think that perhaps it was having trouble because it's been cold here, it's been below freezing, and I think the grease inside might have been a little bit seized up. But I was actually able to get it into gear, and now I can move it a little bit more easily when the machine's on, just on low. So what you want to do is, the first thing is make sure this is set to low, and then you can actually turn it on and get the spindle going. So I'll do that now. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead, we'll turn it back on. And I don't know if you can see, but this spindle is spinning very slowly. As you can see, it's 33 RPM, so about every 2 seconds you can see it coming around. Alright, so when I turn this knob up, you can see that it's going to start to speed up. And what we want to do is we want to take this up to 600 RPM and run it for 10 minutes. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. So we'll let this run for 10 minutes, and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's sped up just a little bit. It's probably just getting more broken in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the machine. And so now it's turned off. One thing that I did forget to say is that you want to make sure that you have this over in the forward direction. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over to reverse, and we'll go ahead and turn the speed down, start it back up, and go back up to 600 RPMs in reverse. this go for 10 minutes and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we've been going 10 minutes now, and I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. One thing I did wrong is I'm going to get the safety police on me here, is I did not roll up my sleeves. And that's real important when you're doing this, even though there's no tool in here and I'm not actually cutting any work. You don't want to be out here working on this with any kind of sleeves. You also have to take off jewelry, rings, watches. And if you have long hair, make sure you have your hair up in a bun or in a hat or something that's not going to get into the machine. In this case, it's very low risk. Obviously, I don't have any tooling in here, but nonetheless, we want to make sure that we're safe. Also, obviously, if you have any tooling in here, you're doing anything, you want to wear safety glasses. I have some. I'm not going to worry about it for right now for that reason. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to going forward. And I'm going to come over on this side, and I'm going to switch this over to high gear. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take it up to 1000 RPM, and we're going to run it forward for 10 minutes at 1000. So turn this down. Okay, so we'll go for 10 minutes like this and we'll come right back. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes at 1000 going forward. So we're going to go ahead and stop that. Put this back to reverse, turn it down, and start it back up. Okay, we'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, so we've gone in reverse now at 1000 RPM for about 10 minutes. So we're going to go up to 2000 RPM and forward. That's probably close enough. See you in 10 minutes. Okay, so now we've gone for 10 minutes forward at 2000 RPM. Now we're going to go backwards. Alright, we'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, so at this point the break-in procedure is finished, and one thing that you want to do, I read the instructions and I think it's a really good idea, is that anytime you finish using it, go ahead and turn the speed all the way down, and also put it into low gear. That way if you start it back up, it won't be in high gear by accident, depending on what you're doing. You'd rather start it off in low gear. Another thing that you want to, if you try to put it in gear, and like right now, it's not going into low gear, sometimes what you have to do is disconnect the power and kind of turn the spindle a little bit, and then it can slip into low gear. Okay, so when you get the machine and actually a lot of the tools, the vise was like this as well, come with this sort of wax paper on it, and underneath the wax paper is cosmoline. So you're going to want to go ahead and take the paper off and clean the cosmoline, and then treat the metal with something that will keep it from rusting. In my case, I don't have any kind of brake cleaner or anything, but I do have WD-40, so I'm going to use WD-40. And the way that this works is you spray this on, and you leave it on for about 10-15 minutes, and then you can come back and hopefully it should have dissolved the cosmoline and make it easier to get it off. So I'm going to go ahead and spray that on, and we'll get it wiped off here in a few minutes. You want to do this on all the unpainted surfaces. Okay, we'll let that sit for a few minutes and we'll come right back. Okay, as I mentioned before, sometimes you can't move this into a low gear. So when that happens, what you do is you kind of wiggle a little bit, try to get in there. If it doesn't work, you just turn the spindle just a little bit and kind of wiggle it until you can click into whatever gear you're trying to go into, whether it's low or high. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start wiping off this table. And I have a shop cloth here. This has been about 10 minutes and it looks like it's done a good job of dissolving off all the cosmoline, but we'll see. Go ahead and start wiping this down. Yeah, that's really nice. You see like green goo coming off of there. I might have to go over this a few times. But you want to go over all the unpainted surfaces and get all that cosmoline off and wipe it down. Some people, I think, use gasoline for this, but I'm using WD-40. Get down into the grooves and get this wiped up. Okay,